This is Ryan Elliott for Boxing Social in association with Betfred. We're in Liverpool. We've just concluded the final press conference ahead of Callum Smith versus John Ryder Saturday evening. With me, trainer Dave Coldwell. Dave, your man Anthony Fowler's on the bill. Got himself a good fight against Fowler-Scarff. Talk to me about the decision to take that fight and what we can expect Saturday night as well.
Do you know what? It is a good fight. It's a really good fight. The reason why we took it is because we was offered it, and it's a real fight. There's no point in Fowler going back to fighting guys that are here to survive. You only learn from guys that are trying to beat you, and then you learn more from guys that expect to beat you. Fowler-Scarff expects to beat him, and this is going to be a good fight because stylistically, he's horrible for Fowler. You know, he's Clifton Mitchell fighter. He's going to have all tricks under the sun. He'll know how to grab, turn, hold, fiddle about, and he's awkward from long range. He'll do a bit of switching. He's a good, he's a good fighter, and especially early doors, it could be quite tricky. But Fowler's showing a lot more maturity, a lot more patience these days, where he's understanding about breaking fighters down. He's understanding that it's not all crash bang wallop. Seems to be closing the ring down a lot better in sparring. It has generally been the best camp in terms for me with Fowler, and that he's been able to do things that I need him to do. I've been asking him to do. He's not been getting any bollockings. He's not been, because he loads up on it. He's not been doing any of that. He's been putting his punches together really well, and his feet have been closing the ring down much better, which is massively important in this fight.
It's interesting, you mentioned something similar to Anthony when I spoke to him, which is no bollockins this time. Almost a maturity in camp. He's taken things on board. In terms of 2019, it's been a big year for him. He had the loss, but he's done the 10 rounds twice, possibly 3 times after Saturday night. How happy have you been with his development this year, coming off the loss and then going into a big pressure fight with Rose, and how much has he learned?
I couldn't have asked him to have handled the loss any better. He's had to do a lot of growing up because he's 27, 28, but he's young. He's young in head. You know what I mean? He's like a kid. So Fitzgerald pushed all the buttons and he just reacted to everything, and there was that much going off in him that he went out like a lunatic, and having that sort of mentality alongside with just being that believing that much in your own bullshit that you generally didn't think the other man could beat you, that caught up on him. Clifton. But he's not going to make that mistake again. He's learned from that. The Brian Rose fight he handled really, really well because he knew he was in with a very experienced fighter, a mature fighter, a fighter that's been there, done that, and had the tools to implement a game plan to beat him. But he boxed really well in that fight, and he did a great job on Brian. He soaked up more experience from that, and now we're moving forward into this fight where he needs again to build on that, and he needs again to show another level of maturity, show what he's learned even more. Clifton will probably try. I've said to him all week, fight week, Clifton's going to start dropping some sound bites. He's going to start trying to wind you up, push them buttons. He was quite quiet today at press conference. I expected him to say something. I expected him to come out with some stuff. Maybe tomorrow, who knows? But maybe that was a little bit of Clifton Mitchell influence, where Fowler puts his hand out to shake his hand, and he goes, no. Okay, that didn't really bother Fowler. It's like, come off, just go, all right. It's a tough fight, regardless of whether you shake your hands or not. It's a tough fight for both men. And on Saturday night, we're going to get a really good fight.
It's funny you mentioned Clifton there. It started a bit yesterday. I've seen a few things, and you were on your Twitter just sort of dismissing it as, come on now, whatever. Is that what it's about this week? Same for Anthony. Let's just not buy into any of this because as you said, it's going to come, isn't it?
Yeah. Listen, I've known Clifton since I was about 15 years old when I first started boxing. He was in the gym, where he came shortly after I was, and we've been friends ever since. His security company is a company that I've used throughout my career as a promoter, and they look after me, whatever. So I'm my fighters. I know Clifton really well. He's a good friend of mine, but I know he's full of bullshit as well at times. He knows how to play the game. He's tricky. But I've told Fowler what to expect. Whatever Clifton wants to bring, Clifton's not fighting him. I'm not fighting Clifton. Clifton's not fighting me. Them two are fighting. Just leave it to them two. That's it. That's all that needs to be said.
Elsewhere in the stable, Hobie Price made his debut recently. Someone you spoke very highly of to myself when we spoke about him down in London not too long ago. How happy have you been with his development since he came in? Short time you've been working together, I understand, but yeah, how impressed have you been?
Yeah, very, very happy. It's been a short time, but we've crammed a lot into it. We've been to LA together. I took him out there sparring. He's sparred with a lot of good guys over here. His development's been great. He got his debut was fantastic. I'm really over the moon with him. And since then he's just kicked on. So he's a good kid. I love his attitude. He's another Jordan Gill in the type of person that they live for the sport. Listen, do everything that you ask him to. You can trust him to do everything right. They take no shortcuts. Not trying to sneak a bit of chocolate here or there. But yeah, he's been great to work with, and he's developing really good. And do you know what? The potential that's in this kid is fantastic. He's 19 years old. There's no rush. You're not going to see me shouting for world titles and all that sort of shit. All I'm saying is the potential is great, and if he just soaks up the experiences, that he gets along the way, that he has along the way, more quality sparring. We're going to go back out to America in the new year. Getting some top quality sparring again, trying to get some top line sparring over here for him as well. I just want him to learn and develop, while he's fighting guys that you'd expect him to beat. It's just about what he's going to be learning in those fights, how to follow instructions, and to think the end game, think the longer term. It's not about him going out there and blasting kids out in a round or two. I'm not interested in none of that bullshit, because it catches up on them when they step up a level. I want him to get comfortable in the ring and feel that ring under them lights in front of these cameras. I want it to where it's his second home, and I want him to get better at press conferences as well.
That'll come though, that'll come. A couple of fights I wanted to pick your brains on, Dave. Obviously main event this weekend, Callum Smith homecoming, bringing his world title, his Ring Magazine title back to Liverpool against John Ryder. John Ryder, it's a big ask, but the momentum we've seen him gain, the run he's on, there's probably not a better time for him to have this test. Talk to me about this fight.
No, listen, John Ryder, I think Eddie touched on it a couple of years ago. John Ryder, you'd think he was finished, he was done. I think Eddie even said at one point, I don't know what I can do with you now. But he said to everybody, no, I've got more left in tank. And he's proved everybody else wrong, proved himself and Tony right, They've done the job. They've done a great job. He's come back. I was commentating when he was out on the Canelo show and he pulled off that win. That's a fantastic win. He just looks so much better. It looks like he's enjoying it again. What I like about this fight is they're both really nice kids, both nice men, nice guys. They come out, outside of boxing, outside the ring. So unassuming. There's no fanfare behind them. There's no bullshit. They're just nice guys to talk to. Very polite. They get in that ring, and they can fight. Two different styles. One's short, one's massive. It's going to be an interesting fight. It's like you say, it's a very big ask for John, because I think in Callum's doing what Tony Bellew told me this kid would do years ago. When I first started training Tony, he used to talk about Callum Smith coming through, and then I've watched Callum turn pro. I've watched him, watched his progress. I've kept a close eye on his progress because of Tony, because he speaks so highly of him. And then to see what he's doing, it's kind of like what I expect him to do. It's a bit of a weird one because he's achieved so much, and he's smashing it, done fantastic. But for me myself, I'm still waiting for him to go, because I've kind of had it from Bellew, and I've been watching him and seeing the potential that he's got, and I think there's still so much more left in him, and for somebody that's become Ring Magazine champion, WBC, WBA, to still feel that they're nowhere near the potential yet, fulfilling the potential yet, that tells you how highly I rate him. I think he's a very, very good fighter. And there's him, for me, there's him and Billy Joe that's like that, and I rate Billy Joe really. Forget about Billy's last fight. When Billy's got a threat in front of him and it feels like motivated, he's a damn good fighter, a really good fighter, and I rate them two like that. And to think that Britain's got two fighters in the same weight division that are that good is exciting times. But Callum's got to get through John Ryder. He's got to be professional. He's got to do his job. I think he's very professional. Him and Joe are just like that. No matter, anybody else can talk about Canelo and old Anfield and all that stuff. I don't think that affects Callum Smith one bit. It's a good fight on Saturday night, but it's a fight I think where perhaps levels and the physical attributes of Callum Smith will emphasise that difference in the level. That's all in my opinion, but I think Callum Smith wins the fight, and then we'll see what comes next.
Another fight I want to get your thoughts on, Dave. Sharing sort of the running on Sky Sports on Saturday. Deontay Wilder rematch with Wilder-Ortiz. When it was first announced, as I keep saying to people, people were a bit, given the manner of how it ended the first time, sort of dismissive and just, do we need this? It was fairly conclusive the way it ended. As it's creeped closer though, a few people have started to just sort of teeter-totter a little bit. Still a banana skin for him looking at that Fury rematch?
Oh, it's a banana skin because Ortiz is a good fighter, and I think the reason why people have switched onto it, because I was one of them people that when it was first announced I was like, oh really? But then you look at Ortiz and he looks like he's been on that youth juice. He looks young. I mean, he's physically looks good. His face, he looks like a different man. He's gone from looking old, bordering on pensioner, to looking like he's just like an older fighter, and it looks well. But age, it doesn't matter what you look like. Age has a habit of catching up on you, in your time, in your reflexes. Just slowing down that little fraction. That booming right hand Deontay Wilder's, if you can't get out of that, then you're in serious shit. I think Wilder, for me, he's one of those fighters. He is must-watch TV because you don't know. He could be losing a fight. He could be wobbled, whatever. He has got that power where he can take out absolutely anybody in any time whatsoever, whether it's 1 minute or last minute. I think Wilder again. I wouldn't be surprised if it was a struggle because, like I said, it's very difficult if you don't see them training, you don't see them sparring. Ortiz looks great, but then how is he sparring? Is he looking slow still? Is his timing not there? Is he old? Well, he is old, but is he performing old? That is a key because you can look as great as you want. We've seen it time and time again. Bodies don't win fights, They don't win fights. So it is what it is. I think Wilder, and I think it's exciting because it's always exciting when it's Deontay Wilder. So I can't wait to see it.
Dave, I'm going to let you go unless there's anything urgently that you'd like to add.
No. I just want to eat. That's it.
You and I both. Thank you very much for speaking to Boxing Social.